There is nothing hidden that will not be revealed. There is nothing buried that will not rise. What if the very fabric of your reality, your thoughts, emotions, successes, and failures, were governed not by chance, but by ancient, immutable laws? Laws not created by man, but etched into the structure of the cosmos itself. Laws that, if understood, could transform your life in ways so profound, they would seem like magic to the uninitiated. For centuries, sages whispered of these laws behind closed temple doors, encoded them into sacred texts, and veiled them beneath symbols only the initiated could decipher. But one book dared to illuminate them for the modern world, the Kybalion. Published in 1908 under the mysterious authorship of The Three Initiates, this deceptively slim volume claims to reveal the secret keys to mastering reality itself. Yet the Kybalion is more than a book. It is a cipher to the universe, a map for those bold enough to trace the lines between mind and matter, spirit and form, cause and effect. It offers not just wisdom, but power. Not superstition, but law. But here's the mystery: why do so few understand it? Why does its language feel like riddles wrapped in poetry, cloaked in paradox? And why, if these principles are so powerful, are they not taught in our schools, not mentioned in our religions, not written on the walls of our so-called civilized world? Tonight, we journey into the heart of this forgotten knowledge. We'll explore the Hermetic origins of the Kybalion, decipher its 7 Hermetic principles, and uncover how these laws govern the hidden architecture of your reality. Along the way, we will expose the veils that have kept this wisdom from the masses, and the liberating truths that await those who seek it. Are you ready to remember what your soul already knows? Then let us begin. Long before the printing press, long before empires rose and fell, long before the names of gods were carved into stone, there was a whisper, a current of truth passed not through books, but through breath. This was the tradition of Hermeticism, and at its heart stood a figure cloaked in myth and mystery, Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great. Who was Hermes Trismegistus? Was he a god, a man, or something in between? Some say he was the Egyptian god Thoth, keeper of divine wisdom, fused with the Greek god Hermes, the messenger between worlds. Others claim he was a sage who walked the sands of ancient Kemet, what we now call Egypt, long before history remembered names. Whatever his origin, Hermes was said to possess knowledge that spanned the heavens and the earth, the seen and the unseen. His teachings became the seedbed of alchemy, astrology, and sacred geometry. They echoed through the mystery schools of Alexandria and the secret chambers of the Pythagoreans. And then, like all sacred things, they went underground. When Rome burned Alexandria's library, when orthodoxy declared war on heresy, when the age of mystics gave way to the age of dogma, the Hermetic truths were hidden, preserved by adepts who understood their power. These truths were not meant for the careless. They were coded into symbols, allegories, and paradoxes, guarded like sacred fire. Centuries passed. Then, in 1908, something strange happened. A small book appeared. Anonymous. Untraceable. Titled the Kybalion. Within it, 7 core principles, claimed to be drawn directly from Hermetic philosophy. But unlike the dense tomes of the occult, the Kybalion spoke clearly, yet cryptically. It declared that, the lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding. It hinted that reality itself could be bent, like light through a prism, by those who understood these laws. But was this merely philosophy? Or something more? The Kybalion does not ask you to believe, it challenges you to observe. To see that these laws are not opinions, but forces. Just as gravity pulls and magnetism attracts, these Hermetic laws move behind your thoughts, your choices, your destiny. They are the algorithms behind existence, written in symbolic language for those with eyes to see. But here's where it gets even more mysterious. Though presented as Hermetic, the Kybalion emerged during the rise of the New Thought movement in America, a movement that fused Eastern mysticism, Western esotericism, and emerging understandings of consciousness. Some scholars speculate that the book's real author was William Walker Atkinson, a prolific writer on occult and mental science. But the truth remains obscured, just like the identity of the three initiates. Why the secrecy? Because to reveal the nature of reality is to threaten every illusion built upon it. To say that mind creates matter, that spirit precedes form, that the universe is mental, this undermines every institution rooted in external power. The Kybalion doesn't ask for blind faith, it offers keys to inner sovereignty. And those keys have been hidden in plain sight. As we journey deeper, we'll uncover each of these 7 Hermetic principles, the laws said to govern all planes of existence, mental, physical, spiritual. You'll begin to see how these laws play out not just in the stars, but in your relationships, your health, your success, and your suffering. And once seen, they cannot be unseen. The Kybalion does not offer salvation. It offers remembrance of a wisdom that once guided ancient priest-kings, temple scientists, and spiritual warriors. A wisdom now waiting to awaken within you. The principles of truth are 7. He who knows these, understandingly, possesses the magic key before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open. The Kybalion. The Kybalion does not begin with a command, it begins with a revelation. A whisper of cosmic order that has always been there, shaping all things. It offers 7 Hermetic principles, laws that do not operate at the whim of a god or the vote of men, but as the very code behind creation. These principles are not mere abstractions, they are living forces, pulsing through every breath, thought, vibration, and transformation you experience. Let us begin the descent into these sacred laws, not to worship them, but to remember them. For to remember is to reclaim the power that has always been yours. The all is mind, the universe is mental. Reality begins not with matter, but with mind, the infinite, unfathomable intelligence known as the All. This is not a being in the sky, but a consciousness that dreams galaxies into form. Every atom, every thought, every star, every cell is a manifestation of this divine mental substance. You are not merely living in a universe, you are living within the mind of the universe. To grasp mentalism is to recognize that your thoughts are not confined to your skull, they echo into the quantum field. Your inner world is the blueprint. What you believe, you perceive. What you focus on, you attract. The world outside is the mirror of the world within. But be warned, this principle is both liberating and terrifying. If your mind shapes your reality, then every fear, doubt, or resentment may be creating more than you realize. Mentalism demands that you become the architect of your consciousness. As above, so below, as below, so above. This is the bridge, the golden thread that links spirit to matter, heaven to earth, macrocosm to microcosm. What happens on one level of reality echoes on all others. Your body mirrors your emotions. Society mirrors the collective psyche. Planets orbit like electrons, and your breath mimics the tides of the ocean. To master this principle is to decode symbols in nature, in dreams, in your own life. It's to understand that nothing is isolated. Everything is a reflection. A sickness in the body may be a wound in the soul. A chaotic relationship may be an echo of a disordered mind. When you align the lower with the higher, when your actions mirror your spirit, you open the gates of harmony. You become a conduit of cosmic balance. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. At the most fundamental level, all of existence is motion. Energy. Vibration. Even the stillest rock hums with atomic resonance. You are not a solid object, you are a symphony of frequencies. Thoughts are vibrations. Emotions are vibrations. Words carry vibrational signatures that can heal or harm, elevate or destroy. The ancients knew this. That's why sacred chants, invocations, and names of power existed, not as superstition, but as vibrational keys to unlock higher states of being. When your vibration is low, when fear, anger, and shame consume you, you resonate with experiences that match that frequency. But raise your vibration through love, gratitude, presence, and purpose. And reality bends in kind. You are both the instrument and the player. Learn to tune yourself, and the universe becomes your orchestra. Everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Light and dark. Hot and cold. Love and hate. Every truth contains its opposite, not in contradiction, but in complement. Polarity is not division, it is the spectrum of unity. The wise do not fight opposites, they transcend them. For the sage, good and evil, peace and chaos, become tools of understanding rather than labels of judgment. What you despise in another is often the unhealed shadow in yourself. What you fear may be the key to your liberation. This principle invites you to shift perception. To realize that what appears as failure may be the beginning of success. That endings are disguised beginnings. That heartbreak can be a doorway to higher love. By mastering polarity, you become the alchemist, transforming poison into medicine, weakness into wisdom, darkness into light. These first four principles are not merely theories, they are the foundational architecture of reality. They move through you every moment of every day, whether you know it or not. But once you do know, you gain a responsibility, to live consciously, deliberately, aligned with these laws rather than at their mercy. In the next section, we will explore the final three Hermetic principles, those that govern rhythm, cause, effect, and the balance of masculine and feminine energies. These are the deeper mechanics of manifestation, transformation, and mastery. We are not yet at the summit, but we are no longer in the valley. The deeper you travel into the Hermetic teachings, the more the world begins to reveal itself, not as random, but rhythmic. Not chaotic, but coded. The Kybalion's final three principles are less about knowing, and more about mastery. They teach you not simply to observe the universe, but to move with it. Like a dancer learning the steps of an ancient cosmic ballet. These laws are subtle, yet absolute. They whisper beneath the noise of modern life, beneath the metrics and machinery. To those who live unconsciously, they seem like fate. But to the initiate, they are tools, keys to unlocking sovereignty. Let us step further beyond the veil. Everything flows, out and in, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall. There is a pulse to the universe. The moon waxes and wanes. The ocean breathes with tides. Nations rise and collapse. Your breath inhales and exhales. Your life expands and contracts, again and again. This principle teaches that nothing is static. Success is followed by stillness. Joy dances with sorrow. Even spiritual awakenings are followed by nights of shadow. This is not punishment, it is pattern. Those who fight the rhythm suffer needlessly. They panic when the tide goes out, not knowing it must return. They cling to highs and curse the lows, unaware both are sacred phases in the spiral of becoming. But the wise, those who understand rhythm, surf its waves. They plan for the ebb during the flow. They plant seeds in winter, knowing spring will come. They do not panic in the dark, because they have seen the dawn before. To master rhythm is to master patience, timing, and trust. It is to step outside of panic and live in sync with the divine pulse. Every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause. There are no accidents. Only the unseen machinery of causality. Most live as pawns, tossed by circumstance, surprised by events, disempowered by reactions. But the Kybalion speaks to those who are ready to rise from the level of the effect and become the cause. Every thought is a seed. Every choice is a trigger. Every emotion, every belief, every unconscious habit is sending ripples into the field of becoming. Whether you are aware of it or not, you are always generating effects. This principle asks you to step into the throne of your own life. To ask not, why did this happen to me, but what inner law have I set into motion? And more, it reveals that what we do to others, we do to ourselves. Because cause and effect are not just personal, they are karmic. The universe is a perfect mirror. Not as punishment, but as reflection. What you send out must return. When you master this law, you cease blaming. You begin creating. You no longer ask for permission to change your life, you initiate it. You become, as the Kybalion says, a causal being. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. This is the most misunderstood and the most profound. The principle of gender has nothing to do with biological sex. It speaks to the energetic duality within all things, the masculine and feminine forces that generate life, form, and movement across all planes of existence. Masculine energy is projective, assertive, directive. It is the sunbeam, the sword, the word. Feminine energy is receptive, creative, intuitive. It is the womb, the chalice, the void from which all things arise. In every idea, the masculine is the spark, the feminine is the ground in which it manifests. In your consciousness, the masculine is will, the feminine is imagination. True creation requires both. This is why the ancient temples always honored balance, not dominance. When masculine energy dominates, the world becomes rigid, cold, and aggressive. When feminine energy dominates, there is chaos without structure, feeling without focus. The wise seek inner union. In practical terms, this means activating both energies within yourself. You must have the courage to act and the wisdom to receive, the discipline to build and the softness to adapt. This is not modern ideology, it is ancient truth, reflected in nature, in myth, and in your very being. Together, these 7 principles do not merely explain reality, they design it. They are the scaffolding behind your emotions, your relationships, your spiritual path. They operate on the physical plane, the mental, and the spiritual. To ignore them is to be ruled by them, but to study them, to live them, is to reawaken as a conscious creator in a universe of meaning. But knowledge, on its own, is not transformation. The next step is action. In the next section, we move from the sacred text to your daily life. We will explore how these laws can be applied, consciously, practically, to reshape your mind, your vibration, and the outcomes of your destiny. You are no longer a student. You are becoming an initiate. Now that the veil has been lifted and the 7 Hermetic principles revealed, the question remains, how do you live these truths? How do you move from mere understanding to embodied mastery? The Kybalion is not a dusty relic to be admired from afar. It is a living, breathing guide for those ready to transform their inner and outer worlds. Let us explore practical, time-tested ways to align your consciousness with these ancient laws and become an alchemist of your own reality. Start by observing your thoughts, not as fleeting, uncontrollable clouds, but as powerful creators shaping your reality. Begin a daily practice of mindfulness meditation or journaling, focusing on awareness of mental patterns. Ask yourself, what beliefs am I holding that limit my vision? Which mental images am I nurturing that could birth new possibilities? Use affirmations as tools of intentional creation. Speak with conviction, I am the master of my mind. I create my reality through my thoughts. Repeat this until it ceases to be a mantra and becomes a felt truth. Remember, your mind is a field of infinite potential. Guard it as a sacred temple. Begin to see the reflections. When conflict arises in your relationships, pause and look inward. What internal turmoil is mirrored by this outer tension? Practice active reflection. If your body is tense, what emotions are compressed beneath the surface? If your life feels chaotic, what patterns in your thoughts are out of alignment? Create rituals to connect the microcosm and macrocosm, like watching the stars and journaling your dreams or using nature walks to meditate on your personal challenges. This nurtures your intuitive capacity to read reality as a symbolic language. Emotions are energetic frequencies, and you can cultivate higher states of being through deliberate practice. Gratitude journaling, breathwork, sound healing, or chanting sacred mantras can elevate your vibration. When you notice negativity rising, fear, anger, doubt, acknowledge it, but don't feed it. Shift your focus to what uplifts you, a memory, a purpose, a vision. This rewires your neural pathways and harmonizes your energy field with positive frequencies. Your vibration is your signature in the cosmic symphony. Tune it carefully. When you face a challenge, resist the urge to fight or flee. Instead, use the principle of polarity to find balance. If fear grips you, explore its source, If anger burns, trace it back to unmet needs or old wounds. Try shadow work exercises, writing dialogues with your fears, meditating on your triggers, or visualizing the integration of opposing forces within yourself. By welcoming and transforming your shadows, you alchemize pain into wisdom and fragmentation into wholeness. Learn to observe your personal and environmental rhythms. Track your energy levels, moods, and creative bursts over weeks and months. Notice when you naturally expand and when you need rest. Honor these cycles by planning intense work or social time during flow phases and retreat or self-care during ebb phases. This avoids burnout and aligns your actions with natural timing. Remember, patience is not passivity, it is strategic waiting for the right moment to act. Take radical responsibility for your life. When setbacks occur, ask, what part did my choices or beliefs play? Where can I shift to create a different effect? Set clear intentions daily, visualizing the causes you want to generate. Use focused willpower combined with emotional clarity to plant seeds that will grow into desired realities. Over time, you'll notice patterns shift as you move from reactive to proactive living. Engage in practices that cultivate both energies. Set goals, take decisive action, and practice discipline to strengthen your masculine principle. Simultaneously, cultivate intuition through meditation, creativity through art or music, and receptivity through deep listening to develop your feminine principle. Seek harmony, not dominance, allowing these energies to dance within you and create balance that radiates outward. By weaving these practices into your daily life, you don't just read about the Kybalion, you live it. You begin to perceive reality not as a chaotic storm, but as a sacred tapestry woven by laws you can learn to navigate. The journey is gradual, sometimes challenging. You will falter, face doubt, and confront old conditioning. But each step forward is a reclamation of your sovereignty, the awakening of the cosmic mind within. When you begin to act in harmony with these Hermetic principles, you shift from being a passive passenger of fate to a conscious creator of destiny. We have journeyed from the hidden whispers of Hermetic sages to the living pulse of the Kybalion's 7 principles. You have seen how mind shapes matter, how correspondence bridges worlds, how vibration hums through every form, how polarity reveals unity within duality, how rhythm weaves cycles of flow and ebb, how cause and effect roots every outcome in conscious choice, and how the masculine and feminine dance within creation itself. This is not mere philosophy. It is the blueprint of reality, an invitation to remember who you truly are, a spark within the cosmic mind, entrusted with the power to co-create the tapestry of existence. As you close this chapter, ask yourself, which principle calls to you most urgently? Where have you been unconscious, and how will you awaken your awareness? What complementary dance between your inner masculine and feminine remains unbalanced? The answers lie not in theorizing, but in feeling, in doing, in being. Take a moment now, breathe deeply, center your mind, and feel the subtle currents of these laws flowing through you. Let them guide your next thought, your next action, your next dream. And remember, mastery is not an endpoint but a living practice. You will falter. You will face shadows. You will question. Yet each misstep is not failure but a turn on the spiral of growth. Each doubt is a gateway to deeper knowing. So step forward with courage. Use these principles as your compass, your shield, your key. Become the conscious architect of your reality. Live as though every breath, every choice, every moment matters, because it does. If this journey resonated with you, leave a comment sharing which Hermetic law you'll embody today. Share this video with fellow seekers, and let us build a community of alchemists remembering their power. Dive deeper into the Kybalion, explore its pages, test these truths in your life. The doors of the temple have been unlocked. The path lies open before you. Will you walk it? He who grasps the truth of the principle of mentalism, hath grasped the scepter of power.